We stand today here before you to appeal to the conscience of the judges that has been an obstruction and impediment to a final resolution on the ruling of Judge Rosenthal that the Harris County bail bond practice violate the Constitution and is based on a wealth-based detention system. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. If one part of it is weak, it jeopardizes the integrity and quality of the others. We have some judges that, for whatever reason, are resistant. We also are very proud that the Washington-based Equal Justice Under Law initiated this case. For example, we have been working with other individuals on getting a statewide bail bond reform, especially after the Sandra Bland case. What this situation does, it's a waste of taxpayers' money that could be used for sheltering the homeless and mental health programs and juvenile justice. What we have in this system is greed. It lines the pocket of others while have people that cannot afford the bail bond. It ruins their lives because not only do they lose their jobs, sometimes they lose their family instead of getting equal protection of the law. We appeal to these judges so that they can reconsider and think about the good that we could do by resolving the issue and moving on to other things. So our appeal to the judges is the ball is in your court and in your hands. Please do the right thing and withdraw your appeal. Show that Houston is strong and Harris County and Houston are strong and make it a reality. We believe that when the community, when you do that, the community will be appreciative and we'll move on to address other issues. The criminal justice in Harris County and in Texas has needed reform. The coalition was very instrumental with a lot of groups in achieving the grand jury reform. And now we're moving into this, and later on we'll deal with some other issues. I'd like to introduce some of my colleagues. I will start with a young lady and then move on, and they introduce themselves. They're part of the coalition. Go ahead.
Good morning. I will be brief. My name is Cynthia Cole. I'm the Executive Director for ASME Local 1550. And I'm here as one of the board members for the Greater Houston Coalition for Justice. Sandra Bland would be alive today if we had a different bond system, bail bond system. Nobody rides around with $500 in their pocket, especially young people with $500, so that they can get out if something should happen. Heaven forbid that it would. Sandra Bland's life happened to have amounted to being in a situation where she didn't have money. But she's not the only one that doesn't have money. There are a lot of disadvantaged individuals who don't have money. Should the bail bondsman system represent individuals who have minimal amount of money, so you stay in and you can't get out, and then someone who does have money just gets out and walks. It doesn't look right. It doesn't work out right. We're asking these judges to please readdress the issue. Please look at it from a fair standard. We're not going to go away. We're going to keep having these conferences. We're going to keep getting petitions. We're going to keep pushing back because we want justice, but justice should be for everyone, and it should be a balance.
Good morning. My name is Dave Atwood. I'm with the Coalition. I've lived in Houston for over 45 years. I've been looking at the criminal justice system here for all those years. And the best way I can describe the system we have now is it's the chokehold. It's choking back particularly people who are poor, and people who are minorities, and it goes from what happens on the street all the way up through the courts. And this bail bond system that we have now chokes people who are poor in particular, but also minorities. They don't have the money. They stay in jail. It's a system we need to change. We need to change it now. We don't need to hold back anymore. We need to change the system. And the sooner we do that, it'll benefit all our community. Thank you very much.
My name is Stephen Flores. I'm the president of the Communication Workers of America, Local 6222. I'm the president of the Latino Labor Leadership Council of Southeast Texas. This issue is an issue that is completely colorblind because it's the issue of the poor, the people without. There was someone a lot wiser than me that said freedom is a high price for the poor. And it shouldn't be that way. You can't have justice if you don't have freedom, and you can't have freedom if you don't have justice. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Agustin Veneto. I'm the LULAC Deputy Director for Civil Rights for the state of Texas. We're here to add our voice to the Coalition for Justice in demanding bail bond reform, because we think that it's totally skewed. It punishes the poor for being poor. We've already heard about Sandra Bland, who was kept in prison or in jail because she could come up with $500, and consequently she committed suicide. And then we have the other extreme, where we have Robert Durst, who was let out. I don't recall how large a bond it was, but he had all the money in the world, and he paid it and was out the next day. Consequently, he killed a man, cut him up into little pieces, and has killed other people since then. So we have two extremes here. We have one, a defenseless young lady who was only here in the Houston area to look for work at the Prairie View University, and because of a traffic stop that went wrong, she was arrested, and she couldn't come up with $500 because her hometown is in Chicago. So she was punished for that, and consequently resulting in her death. But how many other cases are there? There are numerous cases where people cannot afford to come up with a bail bond money for a minor offense, and yet you've got people that have plenty of money that can get out there for murder or whatever it is. It is time that we reform this system, that we make it equal for everybody, that it be based on an assessment rather than how much money you have in your account. Thank you very much.
Hi, good morning. Carol Alvarado, State Representative for District 145. This is a civil rights issue that has been sort of a silent one creeping up, but because of the good folks standing behind me and folks like Commissioner Rodney Ellis have shined a light on this. And for too long, people that cannot afford to get bail, people that have been charged with some very minor crimes, and we've had many extremes. I know of a case in Dallas where a grandma who committed a $105 shoplifting crime, and her bail was set at $150,000. It cost the county $3,300 to jail her. We cannot continue to use a fixed schedule to set bond. We need to come up with another way where you look at the person's ability to pay, and you also look at the risk that person poses to the public. So as we go back to the legislature next session, we will be working with the coalition that is standing behind me. We will be working with Commissioner Ellis and others to make sure that we can address this silent civil rights violation that has been creeping up in our community and primarily affecting minority populations in our community. Thank you.
This is a young man, and he's in school. He would like to have a few words. Jay, introduce yourself and tell them what you think about this.
My name is Jay Wilson. Currently, I'm a senior at Texas Southern University, and I'm affiliated here with Ask Me Local 1550. I like to say that we live in a country where we pride ourselves on being a democracy, where we have institutions that adhere to a fair rule of law, that are do not consider race, that do not consider creed, and that we abide by a set of legislations called the Bill of Rights. And within that, we have the 8th Amendment, which states that we will be free as a citizenry of the United States from the tyranny of cruel and unusual punishment and excessive bond. And with this matter today, we need to address this directly. We need to understand that bond isn't something which we crush and belittle people with, and which we use to promote disenfranchisement, and that we need to look to proper alternatives to properly address this issue and bring equality and justice within not only our society but our system. Thank you.
As you know, we have Commissioner Rodney Ellis and my good friend from ADL. I never heard some people be so shy and camera shy, so I've asked them to talk, and if you can persuade them, fine, and, you know. But the words of this young man and what the Greater Houston Coalition is doing, we're dealing with cases, institutional change that some people don't address. The hard issues, the hard that will make equality and colorblind society become more a reality than a slogan. I'm so proud of some of the people that belong to the coalition. And now you're going to say, well, what's next? Let me tell you what's next. In our February 10 meeting, where we have a board meeting, we will be addressing the teams that will be scheduling meetings with the judges to personally look at them and talk to them face to face, and they're not looking at TV. They're looking to persons that have been in the trenches for years, young ones coming in, and that we're asking them to change. We can talk about Houston proud, Houston strong, all about this good time, but let's talk about the dark side of Houston Harris County, which has been the criminal justice system for many years. But collectively, the judges, elected officials, we can change that. We can make it something that Houston has been in the national news with the success of the Astros and others, that we take care of the dark side of our community as well. Now, so I can go back to what is it we're going to be doing. Once we meet, we will designate the teams that are going to meet with the judges. We will call on groups that are not part of the coalition. We have invited clergy to this, but for whatever schedule conflicts, we intend to include clergy, other civic leaders, to encourage the judges to withdraw. We will also probably work on an online petition, so that when we get all of these petitions in, we will come to you publicly to announce the numbers. It could be that we might be talking to defense attorneys to pay for billboard signs, advocating for change, and asking judges to reconsider, because, as we said before, the nation saw the floods in Houston and us coming together as a community to help the neighbors. We saw in the streets of Houston during the freeze, the homeless freezing, where people came out and gave them coats and blankets and all of that. We can do better than that. We can take care of the homeless, sheltering them. We can take care of the mental health issues, that you have a lot of people in jail, not because they committed a crime, but their mental status made them do things that they wouldn't have done under normal conditions. And so we intend to bring those issues to the limelight. And as you know, many elected officials get major contributions from the community and all. But more important, their integrity is at stake. They get elected when they talk about being tough in crime. You can be tough in crime, but you can also be compassionate with some of the cases that you heard some of my colleagues talk. So now, having said that, I will close, and you're welcome to ask any of my colleagues any questions you might have.
Do judges listen to petitions?
The judges listen to voters. Petition is awareness of the needs of the community, and they've managed to recognize whether they are serving the community or not. I remember that I've been involved over 50 years. I've been a state director for LULAC. I remember some of our leadership in the past that developed scorecards by judges and elected officials. Those scorecards went to the community through announcements like you have today and through print. And so we're not here against Republican, Democrat, or Independent. We're here for what is right in our community. And many of our organizations have 501, 504c3s, and we're not here to endorse or jeopardize the status of our organization. We're here because as civil rights advocates, we're here to champion the rights of all people. Okay, if not, I want to thank all of you, and I appreciate you being here. You will be hearing from us